Welcome back to RISE official channel for JEE and NEET. I'm Jairam, physics faculty at RISE, and in this video I'll explain 10 probable topics and their analysis for JEE Main 2021 April session using all February and the March shifts papers and their topic-wise question analysis. These topics play a very important key role in your April attempt preparation, which were anticipated based upon their importance in February and March attempts. So coming to the first topic, the topic name is PN junction diode, which is concerned to the chapter of the semiconductor electronics here. So under this particular chapter in the February session we have got the 5 questions. In the March session we have got 1 question in this case. So he is asking what type of the questions. For example, the value of the power dissipated across a Zener diode is 15 volts. He has given the Zener voltage connected across the circuit, and the power dissipated is this much. He is asking what is the value of the x to the nearest integer. He is asking the power dissipated across the Zener diode. So to find out the power dissipated across the Zener diode, we need to find out the current across the Zener diode. Since voltage and the output resistance are parallel to each other, the output voltage is also equal to, that is 15 volts. So the current I1 can be calculated as V out by RL. So that comes out to be the 15 by 90, which is equal to the 1 by 6. So the excess voltage is dropping it across the series resistance. V excess is equal to the input voltage minus Zener voltage. So that is equal to the 22 minus 15. That comes out to be your 7 volts. So this 7 volts will drop across the series resistance. Due to that increase in the current value will be I is equal to 7 by 35, which is 1 by 5. So from this one you need to get the I2 value is going to be how much? So I2 is equal to I minus I1. So I is 1 by 5 minus 1 by 6. So obviously your LCM will be, that is your 30, 1 by 30. This is your I2 value. Then the power dissipated P is equal to Vz into your I2. So that is equal to the 15 into 1 by 30, which is going to be the 2, that is 1 by 2, 0.5 watts. Fine. So nearest means you need to round it off to the, this is 5 into 10 to the power of minus 1, what he has given in this one, where x value will be the 5. Fine. So next question, next topic is going to be your, the topic is given as the transistors, and this transistors also comes to the same chapter, that is semiconductor electronics. This is also the next same chapter. So in this one, what type of the questions he is asking, or it has been in February session it has been asked for 2 questions. In March session he has asked 3 questions in this case. So the type of the questions he is asking is the transistor, if the transistor is increase in emitter current, that is IE he is asking. This value is nothing but an emitter current, that is your increase in delta IE. He is increasing by 4 milliamperes. Corresponding increase in the collector current, that is your delta IC, is equal to this one. He is asking the beta. Basically what is the formula for the beta? Beta is equal to your IC by, or change in IC by collector current by change in base current. You don't know the value of the IB, but IB can be calculated as IE is equal to IC plus IB. So from this one IB value is how much? So IB can be taken as an your IE minus IC, which is equal to the 4 minus 3.5, that comes out to be the 0.5 milliamperes. So substituting that in your beta formula, beta is equal to IC is 3.5, IB is 0.5. So it comes out to be the beta value is 7. So your option should be the C. Coming to the next topic, that is the topic 3. it is also concerned to the digital electronics of the same chapter, that is the semiconductor electronics. In the February session we have got the 3 questions. In March session we have got 4 questions from this particular chapter topic in this particular chapter. In this case, now if the logic circuit shown in the figure, if input A is 0 and input B he is going to give the 1, then what will be your output is going to be some x he has given. What is the output to x value, or y is equal to x, is asking what's the x value. Suppose from here how much we have given to the A, it is 0, and here B for the we have given 1. Fine. So when 0 is been given as an input to the A, the same 0 will flow to the OR gate over here as a 0, and over here NOT gate it will be converted as an 1, and it will be fed it to the second OR gate as 1. Similarly, B is been given 1, so for the second OR gate it will go as a 1, and for here since it's a NOT gate it will be converted as a 0, and the same 0 will be fed it to the first NOR gate. So what is the function of your NOR gate is A plus B whole bar. That means 0 plus 0 whole bar is 1, 1 plus 1 whole bar will be 0. So both of them are being fed to an AND gate. The final value is your AND gate. So AND functionality y is equal to AB, that is 1 0. So final answer will be 0. So this is your third case. Next, coming to the fourth topic, the power in an AC circuit. In the February session regarding this particular topic, the power in an AC circuit comes under the AC alternating current chapter. One question is been given in the February session, and in the March session also one question is been given on the same topic which is concerned to the AC circuits. Now coming to the type of the question, in an LCR circuit, inductive XL is equal to 10 ohms he has given. Inductive reactance and capacitive reactance XC value he has given it to be the 4. Resistance of the circuit also he has given it as an 6 ohms. He is asking the power factor. What do you mean by power factor, man? So power factor is nothing but then cos phi. So from the graph of the phasor diagrams, this is your R and this is your resultant value of the Z, which makes an angle phi here, and this value will be XL minus XC. So to find this cos phi value, so from the graph cos phi can be written as, and this is R by Z. So to find out the power factor, first we need to find the impedance, that is the Z value. Impedance is equal to, for an LCR circuit, R square plus XL minus XC whole square. XL minus XC whole square. So now coming to this one, substitute the values please here. R square in the sense that is 6 square plus XL is 10 minus 4 whole square, which is also 6. 6 square plus 6 square, we can put it as an 6 root 2. So this will be your 6 root 2. Now substitute in the cos phi. So cos phi is equal to, so how much is this one? R is 6, Z is 6 root 2. 6 will be cancelled, that will be the 1 by the root 2. So your power factor is your 1 by root 2, which is your option C. Now coming to the topic 5, which is also concerned to the same chapter, that is alternating currents. In this chapter the topic is transformer and LC oscillations, and in this one February session we have got the 3 questions. In the March session also we have got the three questions. See how much important this particular topic in this particular chapter it is. Now coming to what type of the questions he is asking, find the value of L and C. That is, he is asking the inductor and capacitance values. All the values given are the RMS values. So now these are the things. Find. So now you need to find out the L and C value. So across the inductor there is a 20 volts drop is there. Across the capacitor C there is a 10 volts drop. Across the resistance, how much drop it is there? 15 volts and 60. Then that means the current passing through the circuit, since all of them are in the series condition, so I is equal to potential drop across the resistance by the resistor R value, which is 15 by 60. That comes out to be the 1 by 4. So 1 by 4 amps is been passing through this one. So if 1 by 4 amps is passing, then the potential drop across the inductor he has given, that is VL is equal to I into XL. So VL already he has provided it as a 20 volts. Current I is flowing as a 1 by 4 since series combination. Next, XL is nothing but your omega L. So now substituting this one, so 80 is equal to omega is 100 and into L. So from this one, L is equal to 80 by 100, so which comes out to be the 0.8 Henry. And now let's go for the C value. So to find out the C value, you have got the potential drop across the C, but I cannot write this particular thing, so better I'll go for the total potential drop, or you can have in any case total potential. You have got the total current that is been passing. I'll go for the Z conditions here. So the total potential V is equal to, according to the phasor diagram also, you can write it as an, this is VR square plus VL minus VC whole square. So from this one, V is equal to VR square is, which is 15 square plus 15 square plus VL is how much? So potential drop across this one is 20, potential drop across the capacitor is 10, and this one is whole square. So from this one, this is root over 15 square plus this will be your 10 square. So this is your V value. Now when you put down your V value, when you get the V value, you are also having the maximum total current in the circuit. So Z can be calculated as V by I. V by I is going to be how much? So if you can calculate here Z value, the Z value is also equal to the root over R square plus this is XL minus XC whole square. So from this one, Z value, you know the R value is going to be 60, and XL value you can calculate here. So XL is nothing but your omega L. Omega is 100, L value also you know. And from this one, if you can determine the value of the XC, so XC is equal to 1 by omega C. From this one you can find the value of the C, and that will come out to be somewhere around, C value will be getting it as an 500 microfarad. So this type of the questions, very good. So now it's a little bit of a lengthy, okay, but easy, it's a lengthy, so don't leave these type of the questions please. Next, coming to the next topic, topic 6. It is also concerned to the same chapter, that is AC circuits. In this one, the topic name is a representation of the AC current and voltage. This is the condition. Now in this one, in February session we have got a one question. In March session also you have got a one question on the same topic. Which type of the questions he is asking? So the current flowing in the wire is going to be I is equal to I1 sin omega t plus I2. Find the RMS value of the current. So it's a straightforward question. You can determine the RMS value of this one, as if you can find out this general formula I am writing here. So that is IRMS square can be written as an integral of I into dt by integral of dt within the given limits. So on solving you will be getting it as an IRMS square is equal to, that will be your I1 square, this is square, sorry, I1 square plus I2 square whole to by 2. If you remove this particular thing, obviously you will be getting it as an I1 square plus I2 square whole to the power of 1 by 2 by root 2. So these type of the questions is a very simple question. Lot of questions will be asked on this model. Please be careful of this. Next topic is your 7th one, that is the Bohr's model, which is concerned to the chapter of an atoms. So in this chapter, considering the Bohr's model, you have got one question in the February session and 4 questions in the March session. So see how much there is an improvement, how important this particular topic is. So please be careful of this topic. A hydrogen is free to move and its electrons its electron is in the state of, so it is in the fifth state actually. Find the recoil speed of the atom when electron jumps from n is equal to 5 to n is equal to 1. It is coming from it's a lemon series. From 5 to 1 it is jumping, so the energy released in this case can be calculated as E is equal to something like this. This is 13.6 into Z square by N square. Z square, obviously hydrogen is 1, so this will be 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square. So it is coming from a fifth level, so that will be the 13.6 in terms of the million electron volts. I'm getting this solving this one. This is 1 by 1 square minus 1 by 5 square, sorry. So on solving this one, you can get this energy value is going to be how much. So after getting this energy, convert this one into the million electron volts to the electron volts. So this can be written as an 13.6 into, so this is 24 by this is 25. So on solving this one, you can find the energy value is going to be how much, and that energy, since it's an energy of the electron released from this one and there is no external force is there, according to the law of conservation of the momentum of the whatever the energy released, that should be equal to the recoil of the recoil. So you can equate this energy directly, or conservation of this one, you can directly like do this one. So the energy released in this case is equal to energy of the atom, and equate it to the half, this is mv square. So directly you can solve this particular thing. So most probably on solving, it's an already repeated question, you should be getting this particular thing as an 4.35 as your answer. So next type of the questions in this case, same in the same chapter atoms, he is more concentrating on the line spectrum of the hydrogen. Here in the February session we have got the 4 questions, in the March session also you have got the 2 questions. Don't go according to the number of the questions. Even 2 questions means it is of a 8 marks. It can decide your rank, it can decide your position, it can decide your college, it can decide your group. Please be careful of the topic, please be careful. Next one. So the first 3 spectral lines of the hydrogen atom in the Balmer series are given by the lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3. Considering the Bohr's atomic model, the wavelengths of the first and third spectral lines are related by the factor. He is asking the in the Balmer series, he is asking the spectral lines. So which spectral lines he is asking? So the spectral lines of the first spectral line and the third spectral line. So what do you mean by the first spectral line here? That means it is the 1 by lambda 1 is equal to, this is r times of 1 by Balmer series, that is 2 square minus 1 by 3 square, and 1 by lambda third one, that is equal to lambda 2, that is r of 1 by 2 square minus 1 by 5 square. So better I'll put it as a lambda 3. So because the second one should be from the 4th level, so that will be the r of 1 by 2 square minus 1 by 4 square. So he is asking this particular thing, dividing, this should be the lambda 3 I suppose. So now from this one he is asking the lambda 1 by lambda 3 is how much. So this comes out to be almost equal to your 15. It will be nearest integer. You can solve it directly, straightforward question. So next one, it is in the current electricity chapter. In this one, Wheatstone bridge and the meter bridge. So in the February session he has given 1 question, in the March session he has gone to the 2 questions. So most important thing, the 4 arms of a Wheatstone bridge have resistances as shown in the figure. A galvanometer of 15 ohms resistance is connected. This value is 15 ohms. Galvanometer resistance G is equal to, is connected across the BD Calculate the current through the galvanometer when the potential difference across this particular, that is 10 volts. Potential difference across the 10 volts is maintained across the AC. So how much potential difference is there across the AC? 10 volts potential difference is maintained across the AC. This is the one conditions. So he's asking how much current will be passing. So this can be solved by the general your Davidson-Bich derivation. You can go for the loop equations, or you can also go for another type of the analysis also here. I'll better go for the loop equations so that everybody will be understood of this one. So considering the Kirchhoff's voltage law, your first loop, that will be the A, B, D, again A. Let from this one some current I1 is been passing, and here some current I2 is been entering, and here it is been dividing as an Ig through the galvanometer, and this current from this one is I3, and here Ig and I3 are going to be combined and form as an I4. Finally I3 and I4 will come out as an I, as I is dividing as an I1 and I2. Now if I write the loop equation for the A, B, D, A, then it will be the minus I1 of 100. Next, B to D, there is a potential drop across the galvanometer, which is minus Ig into the resistance of the galvanometer. He has given it to be the 15. Next one, from D to A plus I2 into, that is 60, is equal to 0. So this is your first equation. Next equation, you can go for the loop of B, C, D, P. So coming to this particular loop equation, you can write it as an minus I3 into 10. Okay, next it's an unbalanced one, remember that. It next one, from C to D plus I4 into 5. Last one plus Ig into, this is 15, is equal to 0, your second equation. Now apart from this one, according to the KVL equation, you can write it as an I is equal to first one I1 plus I2 at the junction A. Now at B, at junction B, you can, that I1 is been splitting as an I3 and Ig. You can write these equations, please. Next, at D, junction D, what is happening, sir? I2 plus Ig are combining to form as an I4. Apart from that one, at C, your I3 plus I4 are being combining to form as an I. So using these equations, we have got how many equations? 1, 2. This is third equation. This is fourth equation. This one is fifth one. This is sixth one. Or else if you want, you can also write the other equations in this case. That is, from the loop, you can go from the A, B, C and across the battery to again A. So you can write in this also the loop equation, that is minus I1 of 100 minus I3 of 10 is equal to, so or plus, from lower potential to higher potential it is been going, so 10 volts is equal to 0. So use this equation. Another equation from the A, D, C, again A. So using these equations, you can solve it. For the Ig value is going to be how much? So this equation will be the minus I2 into 60 minus I4 into 5 plus 10 is equal to 0. From these two equations, you will have the relation between the I1 and I3 and I2 and I4. On solving these equations, you should be getting Ig as 4.87. This should be your Ig value. So this is the next important topic, is from the same chapter, that is current electricity itself. and the topic is the resistivity of the various materials. In the February session we have got one question, in the March session also you have got one question in this particular topic. Now what is asking? The resistor of the length L is stretched by 25%. The percentage increase in the resistance he is asking. He has not mentioned anything about the area. So coming to the area of this one, what is the general formula of the resistance? R is equal to resistivity rho L by A. Since he has not mentioned anything about the area, I am converting this one into the volume by length, or this will be the rho L square by volume. Here V represents per volume. Okay, so from this relationship R is proportional to the L square. So he has given that length is stretched, but suppose if I take the L1 as an L, that means L2 should be equal to the 125 by 100 of L. So now if I substitute these things in this one, that is R2 by R1 can be written as an L2 by L1 whole square, and this will be substituted as L2 is 125 by of L1, so L2 by L1 is 125 by 100, so which is 5 times, and this is your 4 times whole square, that is equal to the 25 by 16. So your R2 value will come out to be how much? So your R2 is equal to 25 by 16 times of R1. So substitute this one and find out the percentage change, that is R2 minus R1 by R1 into 100. Substitute these values, all the values in this relationship, that is 25 by 16 R1 minus R1 by R1 into 100. So this should come out to be somewhere around 56%. So this should be your answer for this case. Fine. So these are the very important topics that are being appeared in the February and the March session. Hope you will go through across these topics and get your next session to be a successful one. Thank you.